Today I want to talk about garden paths. When we first set up our garden and did the landscaping around about 10 years or more ago, we were quite attracted to white pebbles and black stepping stones, as you see here. Now, we found over the years there's quite a few issues with this type of setup. One of the first things that comes along is that you can get pebbles loose on pavers, and that means that as people are walking, it's really lethal on ankles, that you could twist your ankles. But that is in many ways one of the least of our concerns. While the white pebbles can look really attractive initially, with some time weeds grow like this, and also the leaf litter comes down. Here in Australia with forest around, gum trees shed their leaves over summer and wind scatters them everywhere. And of course, if you're under a deciduous plant like this particular path, you get the heavy fall in autumn over it. Now what this means when you come to a path like this is, as this leaf litter tends to break down, is that you get more organic matter coming into your path, unless you're able to blow it off and keep it cleaned off regularly. The other issues that we've had is where you are gardening, any soil, compost or mulch that you spill goes into the path, and particularly with soil and compost, this is really hard to clean away. Leaves, yes, you can blow them away, but compost and soil tends to go down into the pebbles, and more weeds tend to take root. That means that you've got a constant maintenance load, and it doesn't always look perfect. Sometimes it can get really shabby. Where we've used it, as we have in one location on a garden bed itself, we used it there because of fire issues, it has been better, but paths have been the real problem area. So what to do about it? Well, I know some people like organic paths, they like wood chip and this type of thing, and that's great if you're in the right place. But if you're in an area where some of our paths are, which can be quite moist and wet over winter, then organic paths are not good, because they can really become, not only do they rot quickly, but they also can become really slushy. So we're moving towards concrete, and we're doing something a little bit different. My wife has been taking these pebbles up, lifting them, taking them away, and we're leaving the pavers that we've used as stepping stones, and we're pouring concrete around them. Now, I'm using a fairly rich mix for this. It's probably around a 5-to-1 ratio of sand, gravel to cement, and everybody gets involved in laying it out and smoothing it out. The completed result looks like this, where you have concrete that is light in colour and the black pavers. Leaving the pavers, of course, is just for our own aesthetic preferences. The concrete would be just fine, but this concrete is only the thickness of the paver, so it is only around about a 2-inch concrete layer, and I'm quite happy with the result that we've got here. Some areas my wife has used ferns laid in to make it more interesting. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say this is going to crack, and yes, that is generally the case with thin concrete slabs, that they will crack. We're quite happy to accept that. We're willing that we might have some cracks, but I want to show you, I've used this type of technique with a thin concrete slab in my veggie garden and also in the greenhouse, and I want to show you what's happened there. So here in the greenhouse, where I have had this thin concrete, to say only about 2 inches down for 3 or 4 years now, I have had no cracking, apart from the occasional crack on the corner of a bed. Now, that's the same in the veggie garden where it is more noticeable. Here there's virtually nothing. I think there might be one or two very small hairline cracks on the corners of the bed. Really surprised me. I expected a lot more cracking. You'll see a mark across here, and that's where I joined two different paws, but there's been no crack, and it's really made a huge difference to how I can work in here, because I have sprays running and this is often wet. The water just runs off, whereas previously I had sawdust in here and it would get slushy and decayed quickly. You had to keep adding more. I'm much happier with this. The beauty of the concrete, whatever path, is that you can sweep it clean or you can hose it clean. And in the raised beds I've done the same situation. I've put the thin concrete slabs, and you'll see there's only the small cracking on the corners, which you would expect as it expands and contracts, that it would crack on those corners of the beds, but the rest of it has stayed really good, really firm. Now of course you're not driving on this, you're only walking on it. It's not for heavy loads. It's completely unreinforced, should I say, because the reinforcement at this thickness would only create more problems than it would solve. So the main message that I want to leave you with is that white pebbles might look really attractive at first, and look, it goes the same for any other pebble path. They can look really nice when you first put them down, but they really have some maintenance problems. They don't really work with garden beds that you're going to be working on, and I think in the long term it's a much better situation to use concrete. And you don't have to put down thick concrete reinforced paths if you're only going to be walking on them. This thin concrete, which is cheap, it's actually cheaper if you're mixing it yourself, that is, and doing the work yourself, than buying pavers and putting pavers down, and can be made quite interesting as well. So really think hard about it if you're considering pebbles. Probably think again.